the New York Giants 35, the Washington Redskins 33. We'll be back at Yankee.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the New York Giants and edge rushers, not synonymous lately anyway, but we got Azeez Ojulari last year, who did fine, very, very well for us. But, you know, we can certainly be in the market once again for an edge rusher. You really can't have too many of them. I mean, if you have 3 or 4 of them, you're good. But, if you got one, with Azeez, and, you could certainly try to get at least another one, and then you want to get some depth. We got depth, but you like to get some quality depth. As far as quality depth, we had 4 outside linebackers / whatever you want to call it, edge rushers, outside linebackers, 4 that got sacks last year. 2 of them aren't on the team anymore. All right, Jaylen Smith had 1 sack, not on the team anymore. I don't know who he signed with, if he signed with anybody. Possibly if Judge and Gettleman were still here, we might wind up trying to re-sign them if we had any money. Same thing with maybe Lorenzo Carter. If we had any money, possibly if Judge, Gettleman here, we could have maybe tried to re-sign him. He only signed for $3.5 million with the Falcons. He had 5 sacks for us last year. All 5 came in the last 4 games of the season. I don't know where he was at the first 13 games of the season. Then Quincy Roche had 2.5 sacks for us. We got him from the Steelers. Nice, but super spectacular. No, is he depth? Yep, absolutely. Glad we got him. He had a forced fumble, very important forced fumble. I said 2.5 sacks, nothing super spectacular, but he's some depth, okay. But you always want to obviously keep adding to the depth. And then of course we had Azeez Ojulari, who had 8 sacks for us last year. All right, can he keep that up? If you can get 8, 9, 10 sacks, out of him, you can't complain. That's for the way the edge rushers for the Giants have been going of lately. All right, but other than that, we got some bodies. Ellerson Smith was out a good portion of last season. He came in. He was in on 8 total tackles. He had no sacks. I think he had 2 solo tackles, 6 assisted tackles. He's got the length, the size, and all that, right? Hopefully, with Wink. Sometimes it's a different system. They put him in a different positions and all, and maybe he takes off. Who knows? We can only hope and pray. Carter Coughlin last year, he was out, but we didn't get anything from him. Oshane Ximines, this might be his last year with us. He was in the doghouse a lot last year. He had a penalty against the Chiefs, I believe it was, and he was like a healthy scratch a lot of the final games of the season. Cam Brown, he's good on special teams, but as far as so we could use some help in the edge rushing department without question. Now, obviously, we know there's some edge rushers here. There's no Chase Young at all or anything. But the New York Giants, with the 2 picks, in the top 7, a lot of it depends, too, obviously, on, I'm sure they want to trade out of one of them if they could. New Orleans comes to mind. New Orleans has got 2 first-round picks. Maybe trade back with them with one of these picks that we got. The thing is that the question is that if we stay at 5 or we stay at 7. I mean, one of them. I mean, just from what you're hearing, is that it's going to be a tackle. And then the other one, you don't know. He's going to edge rusher, cornerback. You don't know. One thing, Kyle Hamilton, safety. There's not a lot. I mean, I would be shocked. I mean, they're not taking a quarterback. They're not taking a running back. They're not taking a tight end. I would be shocked. There's a couple nice wide receivers, but shocked at number 5 or number 7 if they were taking a wide receiver. Absolutely freaking shocked. So I mean, on the offensive side, they're only going to take a tackle. Might turn like a Kwanu might turn into a guard. But as of right now, these guys are tackles. Okay. So they're either on the offensive side they're going to take a tackle. On the defensive side, they're going to take there's like only 3. There's Kyle Hamilton, the safety. If he were to make it to the Giants, I don't even know if they would, partake in maybe drafting him. But a cornerback or an edge rusher. So there's only 4 positions that they would possibly draft at number 5 or number 7, right? So if they take a tackle at one of them, the other one's got to be either probably a cornerback or a safety, right? So if they take a tackle at one, the other one's got almost positively has to be a defensive player, unless they trade back with the Saints at I think the Saints got 16 and 19. Then the Giants could take like Zion Johnson, a guard, and then maybe get another or get a defensive player. That way you can have a tackle. They can get a guard and they get a defensive player, or they can take a tackle early on at 5 or 7. They trade back with the Saints and they can double up on defense. That's a possibility. But, good chance they're going to take an edge rusher, right? There's nice depth throughout the draft at edge rushers. But between first, second round, there's a good chance they'll wind up trying to grab an edge rusher. If they don't take it in the first round, maybe in the second round. There's some guys in the second round here who can certainly, help the Giants. I mean, if you got Azeez Ojulari, right, you get another second-round edge rusher. I'm not saying you're good to go. You need some good depth, too. But, I mean, that's a good start. You got 2 young edge rushers. That's a good start, right? So, of course, we start at the top. I mean, at Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of people have him, going maybe number 1 overall, possibly to Jacksonville. It's still a lot. It's really interesting because this is, there's a lot of, I mean, like Trevor Lawrence last year. I mean, you can almost bet everything you got. He's number 1. Chase Young. He was going to go up. I mean, a lot of what you hear is Aiden Hutchinson's going to go first. I'm also hearing a lot about this recently that. Possibly the first 4 picks might be edge rushers. I mean, I was kind of a little shocked to hear that. And then like maybe the next 3 or out of the next 4 picks might be tackles. So I mean, what I'm hearing lately is that the edge rushers are going to be pretty dominant early on anyway. Now, of course, you got to go to Aiden Hutchinson first out of Michigan. I mean, he's the premier one. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau is a better athlete. All right, but there's you get some of the red flags popping up here and there and all about Kayvon. So who knows, right? But I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is without doubt. I mean, absolutely phenomenal player. His ceiling is not going to be as high, maybe as a Kayvon Thibodeau, or somebody's. I even heard David Ojabo from Michigan as well too. His ceiling can be higher than Aiden Hutchinson, but I mean. Aiden Hutchinson here is the highest, this is from PFF, okay, is the highest graded edge defender in college football. Hutchinson has multiple ways to win with his blend of quicks and power. He's a complete edge defender who excels against both the run and the pass, which is huge, absolutely huge, which is what you want. To have him here as a top 5 pick. And the game played against Ohio State last year, he had 15 pressures in the one game alone. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. You know, I mean, if you took him number 1, it'd be really tough to go wrong. You know, the next one on the board, as far as edge rushers, they got Kayvon Thibodeau, who visited with the Giants. You know, I mean, he's certainly a possibility. Certainly a possibility. Now, I mean, it's some red flags as far as his football, his main drive, his main love. You know, taking plays off. I mean, it was one of the comments he made is that I don't want to play for Alabama because they're all they are is about football down there or something. I'm like, well, what the hell do you do? You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? So certain comments like that, you know, if you're going to pay this guy, pick him a number 5 and pay him like $6 million or so just to start off with, you know, for his career, guarantee all that money and everything. Do you want that guy saying, yeah, man, I'm not. They're just about football down there. I mean, that's not. You know, I mean, that's something you really want to hear. But anyway, Kayvon. I mean, you know, he's elite athlete. Thibodeau has an elite first step combined with an ideal frame for the position. While he lacks refinement, the combination still led to a 91.5 PFF pass rushing grade in 2021. I mean, he's got some moves. I mean, you know, a lot of it's up to him. You know, he's a top. They got him here as possibly a top 5 pick. I said it may not be in year 1 or 2, but Thibodeau has perennial All-Pro physical. Has the ability to be an All-Pro. Now, a lot of it, once again, is up to him. Football is not easy. It can rip the heart and soul right out of you. I mean, if you're not prepared for it and all that and everything, if your heart's not really into it, you know it can be tough. Then they got the next one. They got is George Karlaftis. All right, from Purdue. He's 6'2", 266. All right. Let's see. Obviously, he's a first round grade. He's not getting out of the first round. I mean, possibly. He could be a top 5, top 10 pick, certainly, without question. Karlaftis is a versatile Iron Man who can do almost anything a team could ask of him. He played at least 49 snaps in all but one game this past season, and he finished with a 90.6 PFF pass rushing grade. So, you know, Karlaftis' power is such an easy projection to the NFL. You don't see a lot of true juniors, okay, with lower body strength like his. So, very impressive. All right, out of Purdue. All right, so, yeah. I mean, if people are taking, you know, 3 or 4 edge rushers in the top 5, I mean, and Trayvon Walker could be one of them. You know, I mean, he had a Georgia. You know, he's 6'5", 272. Walker is an elite physical specimen at 6'5", 272, who even dropped into coverage this season and managed a pass breakup. He's still figuring out how to rush the passer, though. But you can't teach what he has. I mean, it's just his physical traits are just, you know, amazing. Walker is a size-speed project. It won't take too much technical development for him to make an impact in the NFL. All right. So I mean, you know, he's got. I mean, he's kind of like a wild card. I've heard people talking about him being the number 1 overall pick, and then I've heard him, you know, being maybe in the teens. So he's a wild card. He can go anywhere. You know. I mean, some people really talking him up big time. You know. But I mean, yeah, don't be. The Giants could possibly take him at number 5 or number 7. You know. Let's see. Then you got poor David Ojabo, who got hurt in his pro day. Ojabo had only played 26 career snaps before 2021. That's it. 26. But he made his presence felt in a big way this past season, earning an 86.9 pass rushing grade on 300 pass rushing snaps. Given his physical tools, the Michigan product is still only scratching the surface of his potential. So he's not as good maybe right now as Hutchinson. Because, I mean, you had Ojabo on one side, you had Hutchinson on the other. Holy crap. You know, but Hutchinson is there. You know about what you're going to get. His ceiling might be a little bit higher, but Ojabo ceiling could possibly be even higher. Some people are saying than Hutchinson. Now the thing with Ojabo is that he got hurt, so he won't be. I don't know if he'll be ready. I don't. He won't be ready. I don't think he'll be ready for the beginning of the new year. So possibly, do you want to draft somebody? They're going to draft him in the first round. If it's a tough one. He might fall to the second round. Who knows? I mean, a lot of wild cards going on. But I mean, if he falls to the second round, I think certainly if he were to fall to the second round, only because he's hurt. You get your first round, guy, you're paying him all this money, guaranteed money. If you're going to pay him in the first round, this, that, and the other thing, and he's not going to play for the first maybe month or so for you. So he could fall. But I mean, he's got a big high ceiling to him. So he's got a lot of potential. 6'3", 250, right? Not too tall, but But I mean, he hasn't played a lot before this season, right? Then I heard Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. I've heard some projections him going to the Giants, number 5 or number 7. I've also heard some projection him possibly going in the top 5. He maybe one of the first 3 or 4 edge rushers taken off the board. But 6'5", 254, right? Due to how well Johnson performed at the Senior Bowl, he's unlikely to be a non-factor in the league. Moreover, he's one of the best edge setters in the class with 23 run stops and 14 sacks in 2021. He's very, 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 very good. I said 6'5", I'd say Johnson has very easy NFL projectable tools. It's just the high end that's lacking on tape. So, he's got a lot going to him. I've seen some mocks where the Giants are taking him like maybe number 7. So it's going to be very interesting to see who the Giants, especially with Wink Martindale's defense, do they rather have better edge, get pressure on the quarterback, or would they rather have better coverage? It's going to be interesting to see if they take the edge or they take a cornerback, or maybe Kyle Hamilton if he's there. It'll be very, very interesting to see what they do with Wink's defense. They got Boye Mafe from Minnesota. He was there with I believe a couple of years ago, he was there with Carter Coughlin, right? Mafe was a massive riser after he earned the highest pass rushing grade among edge defenders during the Senior Bowl practices. He's an ascending player who possesses one of the best get-offs in the class. Right? He's very, very good. He's I'm sure he's going to quite possibly be a first rounder as well too. 6'4", 261. So they got him as number 34 on their overall board, which would possibly make him a first rounder, possibly maybe head into the second rounder. But it'd be interesting to see because you're going to have you're going to have the 3 tackles go. You're going to have some cornerbacks go. You're going to have the edge rushers go, and then it's going to start fanning out a little bit. You maybe get a couple more edge rushers sprinkled in amongst the wide receivers and some of the other offensive linemen and all. You have a couple of quarterbacks in there, so it'll be interesting to see. A lot of these guys, like Boye Mafe, does he go to the first round, late first round? Does he make it to the second round? Then you got Nick Bonito, who possibly might be a second rounder as well from Oklahoma. All right, Bonito may be a designated pass rusher at the NFL level, but he'll be a weapon in that regard from day one. He's been the most productive pass rusher on a per-snap basis over the past 2 seasons, earning a 93.6 pass rushing grade in 2020 and a 92.5 pass rush grade in 2021. So Nick Bonito from Oklahoma, right? Quite possibly a second-round pick right there. He may not be absolutely unbelievable. His run defense is a 73.7, but good solid pass rushing grade. So all right, then we got Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. Right, Ebiketie transferred from Temple to Penn State and proved his 2020 production was no fluke. He beat up on quality tackles en route to a 90.5 pass rushing grade and 52 pressures. Very, very impressive. Let's see what he got here. His stats. Okay, he had 8 sacks, 12 hits, and 32 hurries. All right, so you got 8, 12, and 32. That's 52 altogether. So that's pretty. So he had played 12 games. He had 52. All right, altogether. So that's a little over four per game. 52, a little over 4 pressures per game. So basically, like every quarter, he'll get you a pressure. So, I mean, I've seen as a couple mock drafts. Actually, I've seen Ebiketie go to the Giants in the second round. So, I mean, I've seen the Giants take a tackle, then maybe get like Sauce Gardner with our second pick, maybe number 7, and then in the second round we get Ebiketie, the edge rusher. So we've got a cornerback, and we're getting rid of Bradbury. Then we get Ebiketie, so you have Azeez Ojulari and Ebiketie over here. So you have a good quality young cornerback, and we have 2 good edge rushers. Wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be bad at all. Then you got Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina, and Enagbare has been one of the highest graded pass rushers in the country over the past 2 seasons, recording an 89.2 pass rushing grade in 2020 and a 92.5 in 2021. While he's not the kind of athlete who hears his name called early, Enagbare has the violent hands, which he does, to be productive in the NFL. He does have, his hands are, I mean, if you see some tape of him and all, he's just like, very, very violent with his hands. He's only 6'1", but he's 258. Let's see here. It's encouraging, and Enagbare graded so well despite any sort of refinement to his game. But will that refinement ever come? Is the question. If you can give him some time, get him some some refinement, he can only get better. But I mean with his physical presence and all that in college, some guys there's just such good physical specimens in college level that'll work for you. Once you get to the pros, sometimes you need a few more tools in your tool belt, to get the job done. If he just keeps trying to become like a one-trick pony or something, that may not work out too well. But I mean, if somebody can, train him right, and Enagbare might be a good pick for the Giants in the second round. Then you got. Then I'm just going to go over the last one here is Drake Jackson. There's like 11 guys. There's a boatload of them after this, right? But Drake Jackson, it's interesting because this is why I don't pay attention to mock drafts. Like I seen mock drafts like last year when of the 20. We're going back. Like 2021, right? Like a year ago, about what the Giants might draft in 2022. And a lot of teams had the mock drafts had the Giants drafting in the top 10 because they predicted them they were going to have a bad record, which they did. Got to give them credit there. But I seen 75% of the mock drafts from about a year ago had Giants drafting Drake Jackson at USC, and now here he is. He might be a second or a third rounder. I mean, that's why I pay absolutely no attention whatsoever to the mock drafts. So I mean, they got mock drafts out now for next year. And you can be like, oh my God, we're going to get this guy. Oh, we're going to get this. I mean, I can't pay any attention whatsoever. I mean, this guy was going to be a top. I mean, on the mock drafts, they had this guy going in the top 10. Now, right now, he'll be like a second rounder, Drake Jackson. Good player, but I mean, it's simply amazing those mock drafts how off they got. I pay absolutely no attention whatsoever to that anymore. Drake Jackson, all right, let's see, 6'3", 254. Before his late season injury, Jackson proved that he has had a significant next step in his development. His improvement, he had a 66.6 pass rushing grade as a sophomore, and now as a junior he went up to 87.7. So he took a significant step forward. So, I mean, he would not be, without question, would not be a bad pick at all for the Giants in the second round. Jackson is elite bend for an edge rusher. He can duck low under opposing tackles and avoid contact altogether. That's a necessary trait possessed by the elite at that position. So, he's got some good qualities for him. So, I mean, if the Giants were to take him in the second round, that wouldn't be such a bad pick either. I mean, there's a boatload of guys. I mean, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14. I mean, they got like 14, 15 guys, edge rushers in the top 100. I mean, there's depth throughout the whole draft. So, I mean, if we want to pick an edge rusher, we get one in the fourth round, just say, which would be a little late, but it would be some depth. I don't know if it's going to be somebody who's going to step in there and get you 7, 8, 9 sack. I mean, that's probably not going to happen, but I mean, it would be some depth. But I mean, there are quite a few guys. I mean, there's like 10 guys, 10, possibly 11 guys, right, that the Giants could select in the first or second round of the NFL draft. And, considering what we want, we had 4 guys last year, 4 outside linebacker edge rushers, 4 guys get a sacks last year, and 2 of them are gone. So, we need all the help we can get in the edge rushing department. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!